So we need to think of cravings like, am I truly hungry? Because a lot of you listening are restricting too much, or you're cutting out food groups that your body actually needs. And you're thinking, well, I need to do this to lose weight. No, you don't, right? You can eat everything, macros, carbs, fats, proteins, and lose weight. Do you wonder where to go when you have questions about weight loss, exercise, food noise, whatever it is? If so, welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. In today's episode, we are doing another Q&Heyyy where we answer all of your questions about all the things health and wellness. So if you're ready, listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Hey,
Q&Heyyy.
Hey.
How was your weekend?
I had 2 unicorn nights where I got 8.5 hours of sleep.
Nice.
But like it was really nice because she only woke up twice instead of like her little wake ups. So I feel great.
Do you think that she's maybe just getting used to?
No. So I have 3 mottos for her sleeping. Is 1, I am just a facilitator of her sleep. So however we need to get her to sleep, I am there to help her. 2 is that every night is a different night. So there is no pattern. Like, and because I was stuck on a pattern of like, okay, I did this, this, and this. And so it should like be consistent. It's not. And then the other one is, oh shoot, that I'm a facilitator of sleep. There is no pattern. Every night's a different night. And I don't know the other one, but it's just like, I think honestly, it just was what it was. I have no idea, because you can do the same thing every night and it could be a sleep regression. It could be teething. It could be she just doesn't know how to sleep. So she doesn't know how to connect the sleep cycles. So I just let it kind of happen. And that's helped me a lot mentally.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I feel like so many people, their goal is to create a pattern.
Yes.
So how are you creating a pattern without a pattern?
So we create like, how do you have consistency without consistency?
Yeah.
So like we do a consistent like nighttime routine. So usually by like 5. So she usually takes the last nap between like 2 and 4, somewhere in there. And it's usually a cat nap and it depends on her whole schedule leading up to that. And so then come like 5 o'clock is when we start like the wind down routine essentially. So I make sure like all the lights are dimmed or off. And now with summer here or whatever this is, spring, our house gets a lot of light. And so it's still like visible in there. And so then what we'll do is sometimes we take a bath, sometimes we don't. Sometimes I take a bath with her. Sometimes it's just her in her own little tub. But then like come like 5:30, I do a little massage on her and I just kind of like make sure we're not playing as much. And then by 6 o'clock, I'm getting her like rocked or bounced or whatever. And usually by 6:30, she's asleep.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of the routine. And so if she wakes up throughout the night, like everything stays dark. And so I just do whatever I need to do to help her fall asleep or back asleep. And then go from there.
Yeah.
Like, and then when she wakes up, usually I wait until she's like yelling at me as opposed to like, oh, she's up, because sometimes she wakes up and then she falls back asleep on her own. And so that's good because then she's learning, okay, I can fall back asleep on my own. But also like sometimes she wakes up at 4:30. She doesn't need to be up at 4:30.
Right.
And so it's just letting her kind of figure it out. But yeah, there's a lot of routine options available.
Flexibility.
Yeah. But for me, like, and we've talked about it before, I would be too rigid with that. And if she didn't stay on that schedule that was like recommended by some kind of mom influencer or whatever, then it would make me too upset and rigid. And I was noticing that when she was kind of messing again with her sleep, like it made me like, okay, what's the plan? Like, what are we going to do? And Michael was like, she's a baby. Like there is no plan. And so that's kind of helped me in just kind of realizing like, every night is a different night. So like tonight, that's my third, is that I don't expect to not wake up. Like I expect to wake up. So then when I don't, it's nice. But if I do, it's like, okay, that's okay. I'm just her sleep facilitator. Okay, this night is going to be a different night than compared to last night.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any visualizations of like you sleeping throughout the night?
No, but I wouldn't be able to, because that's the other catch is your boobs. Because if like, for example, last night she didn't wake up until maybe like 2 a.m. but I woke up at 1, my boobs were hard as rocks. And so it's like, oh, fuck. And it's really hard to feed when your boobs are like so full. So I needed to pump, and then she woke up. So then I'm feeding.
Jeez.
I know. Sounds fun,
I
huh?
didn't have children.
Yeah. So that was good because I slept.
Yeah, I was so I didn't go to the reggae fest. I've been having these headaches
Still?
throughout the week. Yeah. And then like stuff with like my dad went home, which everyone's probably like, yay. It's not
yay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't really know. My sister basically was like, he's gonna need more care than this, you know?
Yeah.
So dealing with that, I just told Mark, one of the guys needed because we got like VIP tickets. So one of the guys, all the VIPs for Saturday was sold out. One of the guys last minute was like, I want to come now. So I was like, just have my ticket.
Yeah.
Like pay me, but have my ticket. So
VIP is so worth it now as you're older. Like if you're 28 plus, pay for the VIP.
Pay for the VIP. I don't think 28. I would say 35 plus.
35 plus?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because you got money to do it, hopefully, by then. Listen, if you get your own bathroom, that's not a porta potty, pay for it. It's
so nice. Yeah.
Pay for it.
Yeah.
So I walked Liberty.
On
I
Saturday?
didn't take her to Oso because I was like, I want to keep close to the house.
Yeah.
Walked her our 3-mile walk. Brought her back. Same thing. Headache. I was like, motherfucker. I'd already given my ticket up by this point because stuff with my dad the day before. I was just like, I don't not the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, these headaches keep. And so I took 4 ibuprofen.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, I feel better now. And I literally like did a whole mental health day. And that's why I was asking about the manifesting. Because when I first went through my own like healing process, I watched The Secret over and over and over again. And I would take notes every time. And I remember it being on like Netflix or YouTube, but now it's not. You have to buy it, which is fine. I'll buy it. But then I saw that she was on
this is when DVDs is still like good.
Well, I don't even know where I'd play one.
That's true. Never mind. DVDs are not good.
Yeah. So the School of Greatness had her on, which is a podcast I listen to. It's a good podcast. Lewis Howes. And she was talking about that. She was talking about it for women who are looking to conceive. She goes, like a lot of people will say, I'm so thankful that I have this baby. And like, they'll like have this gratitude for something they don't have yet, or they'll be doing all the things and they don't have the baby. And she goes, I want you to imagine like the after effect of feeding the baby, the after effect of
like the actual nitty gritty of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so it got me thinking. So it's funny because in my entrepreneur groups, you know, I have the 2. One of them was like your future vision, and that's a Linkus group, and it has you like write out your priorities, then your qualities, then your affirmations, and then it asks you like what are 4 women that you like look up to. So then the goal is to read those every morning. And one of the goals, you know, is to get on these bigger podcasts.
Sure.
So rather than just saying like, I'm so grateful that I went on these podcasts, because that's what like manifesting people just like say they're grateful for something they don't have yet, believing that it's already there. I pictured myself taking the headphones off and being like, and feeling so fucking like, I just fucking crushed that, you know, and like started visualizing stuff like that. So it was good. Like
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I would even think about the nervousness of going on and like the anxiousness of like, okay, I can't wait to chat about this stuff, but like I want to make sure I do my presentation right, and like boom, Zoom, hey, you know,
And so the manifestation was like, no. Not only are we going to be on the podcast, but you're going to manifest that you fucking crush the podcast. And then the next one was taking us, me, you, Michael, Mark,
cute,
having a dinner where on the plate was congratulations, Christina and Amanda, because we got some sort of accolade for this podcast. What?
I'm getting like,
it's fun, right? It's
like
fun.
where I'm getting like choked up a little.
Oh yeah. When we get there, I remember, guys. We done whatever episode this is. We totally talked about this. And then the third one is me taking you all out, because we've had like this record year and like able to fly like everyone out and like do all of that. And like that one was harder for me because I was like, what do I want to feel like? Is it the toast? You know, the like clinking of the toast?
Yeah.
So that one's a bit harder, like trying to think of
like what is the
after effect of that, you know?
I think maybe the relief of like, wow, I did it. I like crawled through, like, because I don't think, unless you've owned a business, you don't understand what it is like to own a business, right? Because your business is either sinking or swimming.
Right.
Like,
Literally.
There is
right now we're actually like just
bobbing.
paddling.
Yeah. But like in time, and when it is paddling, you're always like, what am I missing? What is something going on? Like there's always like record scratch that you're waiting for. And so I think when you're able to, it's just so hard because when you do like have these like congratulatory things, or like for me it was like my schedule's full, I needed a wait list when I was doing in-person training, and then it was, oh my gosh, like I can't take any more one-on-ones because my schedule is full, like I don't have the emotional capacity and my schedule is full for it. And even then it's like, but what if I could, you know, there's always kind of that like looking behind your shoulder, and it's hard to take a moment and be like, it's okay. Like, this is how it should be. Right. This is what I've wanted. Let's enjoy that for a second, because the next day you may feel like you're drowning.
Right. No. And that was another thing is I did my numbers for Q1. They're fine.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's just funny how this all works. And if you guys are like, why are you guys talking about this? I think it's important, no matter what your goals are, to like really like change your mindset. Because like if I'm focusing on what's not happening, if I'm focusing on we're not busy, I'm going to get more of that. Like I'm going to be in a vibe that's not going to want to
solidifies that.
Right. Well, it's even like exercise, right? If I'm thinking that it's not going to do anything to my body, I'm going to be in a vibe, a feeling of
like, see, it didn't work.
Like I won't even want to do it. Yeah. So then when I go do it, I do it half-ass. And I'm not going to see the results.
I'm glad we're going to talk about that, because I think what you're talking about right now will resonate a lot with me. Because I was like, man, I can't wait for therapy today.
Welcome to Fantasy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Because I was like, I need some therapy on social media today. And it's similar to what you're talking about.
Okay, good. I had this idea in the bathroom today on Dating Deja Vu. No, I was getting ready for this.
Okay.
What if on Dating Deja Vu, I interview my ex-boyfriends?
Go for it.
Wouldn't that be nuts?
Yeah. Would they do it?
I think so. I mean, I wasn't that big of a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, bitch, but not that big.
Yeah.
And
I mean, why not?
And then I was thinking we should have named our podcast Beauty, Brains, and Brawn, a podcast for women. That's another thing that I thought of today.
You could always rename it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute.
But then this clicks in with the business, though.
That's true.
Yeah. Whereas Beauty, Brains, and Brawn doesn't.
It's cute.
It's
the triple B. Okay.
That's funny because we have the B's for Olivia at night. We go booby. What is it? Booby, bath, and bed. Yeah. That's our B's.
All right.
Okay.
Today we have a caller, or not a caller. We have a write-in. For those of you who are interested in having your questions answered, we have, for clients listening, in your resources tab, you have access to the podcast Q&Heyyy form, which is where our first question is coming from. If you haven't already, our Facebook group is 1000% free, and we would love our audience to be in there. It's the Women's Weight Loss and Workout Support Group.
Yeah. There's a link for it in the bio.
There's a link in the bio. The reason why we want you in there is because there is a lot of folks in there, women in there, that really are challenged with the diet culture ideas. And the more that we have our audience in there to support them in a way that is non-diet culture, that is actually going to be what they need, the better for everybody. Plus, I love when, like for me, if I get to teach someone something that I've learned recently or in the past, it just helps solidify it in myself. So the other thing is you can always ask us questions in our DMs. So our first one is anonymous. Okay. So this is someone who has been done one of our challenges and is following the podcast and slowly starting the self-guided program. Yeah. And interested in one-to-one coaching in the future. Yay. We love that. Okay. So the specific question is, how do you recommend making fitness progress in group fitness, specifically F45? Yes, I currently attend twice a week, occasionally a third, and would love input on how to make sure I'm working out effectively.
I think this would be a good question for you to answer.
Yes. So why? Because I coached at F45. So for those who don't understand F45, unless they've changed it since I've coached, you have Monday, Wednesday, which is a high cardio day. Think like ladders, burpees, like stuff like that. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays as your strength days. Friday is considered a cardio day, but sometimes it would be a blend. And then Saturdays is an hour-long workout, which is also a blend. So Saturdays could be a little bit more strength heavy, a little bit more cardio heavy. Sometimes they're just a balance 50-50. So if I was working with someone, because let's face it, F45, actually I met some of my best friend Dustin there. Jordan, I met there. Yeah. So what I'm going to look at is I have the F45 TV for their TVs on my phone.
There we go.
So if I'm looking at it, so you have your push day. So sprints, row, I don't know how this is push, like plyo lunges, dumbbell hang clean to press, soft box jump, kettlebell swing, ski erg, pulses. Okay. So you have your cardio day, and then the strong days are solely just your strength training. So if I was someone who was to do F45, again, we'd love if this is something that you enjoy. And I know for me, like I said, I've met my best friends there. It really is fun. Like it's a fun atmosphere. I loved coaching. It brought me a lot of joy. So I get it. I would do Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this week it would be strong and lift. And it looks like they have your strong day is your lower body, your lift. Oh no, these are both is your upper body, but looks like both are full body, at least for this week. So I would focus on that. And what I would do is I would, because it's all different colors for your weights. So you have like white, red, blue, black. I would focus on for the compound lifts. So maybe not like your accessory movements like biceps or triceps, but your squats, your deadlifts, your lunges, your overhead press, your rows. I would write down or put in my phone what color I used for those specific movements so that I can see if I'm progressing over time. Now, if you are getting really strong by doing those 2 days and you are getting to the point where your squat is you can only, clean maybe 2 blue kettlebells or 2 black kettlebells, because the blacks, I believe, are 72 pounds, something like that. That's when you might need to transition to a gym, but that might take time. So I would do Tuesdays and Thursdays. And for the optional day, I would either do the Sunday class, which is the other strength class, or Saturday class, which is an hour, but it's a blend. Plus there's like a DJ. It's really fun. They usually have people come in like from like
sponsor people,
recovery centers, and like Dr. Brian will come in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do stuff.
Is that how you met him? Sidebar. Okay.
Yeah. He came and talked to all of us coaches. And
it's like, hey guys,
it's like, who's the hottie? Excuse me. Just kidding.
I'll just put my ring in my pocket.
Everyone I said to him is like, I don't know, it was the smoke show. I'm like,
forewarning.
Married with a kid. So that's how I would do it. And then, depending. So if you're doing the 3 days with your nutrition, either, I would stay at maintenance or just a slight deficit, because it is intense, right? It's more of the
workout.
Yeah, the workout. Even when you're doing strength, it's still, so for example,
circuity.
It is. So for example, on the lift day, you have 20 stations.
Oh my God.
Right. So their lift day, you've got dumbbell lateral lunge. Hold on, let me go to the front.
20 stations?
Yeah. So it's
20 exercises.
Chest fly, hip thrust, barbell bent over row, Romanian deadlift, dumbbell glute bridge tricep extension, dumbbell lateral lunge, kettlebell upright row, kettlebell single sumo squat pulse, dumbbell bench incline chest press, dumbbell suitcase squat, Y-bell double bicep curl, Y-bell double racked forward lunge.
So how would you
bent over row
recommend? Because say what could happen is you could feel like you're getting stronger. I know the answers to this, but I want the audience to hear the answers to this. So in that first round, you use all the weights, like you go up compared because you've been writing down. So you go up in weight because you felt strong. Midway through your second round of doing all that, now I don't feel so strong. I'm kind of getting gassed.
You can regress.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring it down.
Yeah.
So looking at the workout, this is a good question, actually. So looking at the workout, so say it is 4 rounds. Like you do have to remember, this is an endurance.
Yeah.
This isn't. So when I'm saying chooses the weight, choose it for like how much volume, right? How much you're going to be doing. So if it's 4 rounds, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, it's not a lot of rest. So while you might be able to deadlift 2 of the black kettlebells
Mhm.
or 2 black plates, maybe that's not the best choice when we're doing 4-6 rounds.
Mhm.
Most of it is going to be over 3 rounds.
Mhm.
So you have to choose, I would say, anything in that hypertrophy to endurance rep range. So anything like when you're lifting like an 8 to 12, 12 to 20, that's where I would stay, would not go any heavier. Plus, I don't think they have the capacity to go heavier.
Okay.
So I would not suggest doing their challenges unless they've updated them. They have like weight loss challenges. When I did it, I was eating under my BMR. And then one day I think I ate 30 grams of carbs. So I just got flat and like skinny.
Yeah.
I'm still 139 pounds though. Flat and skinny, 139 pounds. Good. Okay. Next one.
Mhm.
All right. This is from our group, the Women's Weight Loss and Workout Support Group. Hey, new to the group. I'm dealing with pelvic floor tightness. I'm working with a PT on this, but my glutes and my thighs are weak. What tips do you have?
Good. Okay. So the one tip is what I would already give is that she's working with tagged. One tip is that you're already working with a PT. Specifically, I would make sure that you're working with a pelvic floor physical therapist, just because they're going to have a bit more advanced knowledge and specialty with that. Similar to like us coaches, we have a little bit more specialty towards the mindset where not all coaches have that. Right. So PT or physical therapist works in that same realm. Secondly, so the pelvic floor tightness. So one, we need to work on our breathing and just kind of learning how to relax. So one of the things that I have clients do daily is like, you're in bed, focus on that breath work, right? Because you're winding down for the night. Breath work is actually very relaxing. And just kind of focusing on how to let the pelvic floor go. They also might recommend a pelvic wand. It's a little S kind of trigger point thing that you would essentially insert into yourself and kind of find a trigger point, hold it, breathe through it until it relaxes.
What if you just hit your G spot and then
well then good for you. You get 2 for 1.
Before and I was like, isn't that just a
G spot?
G spot? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Because it's like, think of like almost like a lacrosse ball on your back. It's the same thing in your pelvic floor.
Really?
I know. So, and you can do it as like more pressure, less pressure. So that's an option as well. But then of course the pelvic floor is tight because it's compensating for something similar to like my knee hurts. Well, is it compensating for something? And so like she already knows her glutes and her legs are weak. So what we really need to do is kind of break down movements and making sure that you're feeling them in the glutes, not just going through, we'll say like a hip thrust, right? Hip thrust, you can not feel it in your glutes at all, but you think you're working your glutes. Well, so we need to modify appropriately. So even sometimes like what I'll have clients do is whether it's their warm up or just kind of like on their off days is glute bridges, put hands on butt and go through it in that sense of like, okay, I feel my glutes. And you're not going to. So, but you keep thinking glutes. And so you're starting to create, oh, there it is. And it's going to take time. Right. Similar to this chick, I actually like my pelvic floor was tight. I didn't know my glutes. Like I didn't feel my glutes or my hamstrings. Like my quads always kicked in before. So it took me a long time to work on that. But now that I can, it makes my life a lot easier. So it's really just 1, taking care of getting their proper assessment, 2, learning how to relax and kind of down regulate that system and expand that system. And then 3, retraining the muscles. So that way the appropriate ones are firing.
Yep. Love it. Good. I agree. I'm not your pelvic floor girly. All right. Next one. We won't give her name. It says, hi, ladies. I'm a 42-year-old mom of 2. Okay. In 20 weeks, we're heading to Disney, and I'm eager to get back into a routine with walking, weightlifting, and improving my nutrition. My aim is to tone up and shed about 15 to 20 pounds while being consistent. I do work with a nutritionist, but my biggest struggle is sugar cravings. What can I do to support this? So the question is about sugar cravings.
Yes.
Okay. Now the nutritionist should be dealing with this.
Hopefully.
But if they don't, there's a few things here. So I think I talked about this before, how, fruits, for example, are sweet and those are sugars and energy that our body wants. We're naturally attracted to sugar, from fruit because that's basically how Mother Nature made it. Right. So then we created the tabletop sugar, right? Or what we call it, artificial sweeteners, all those things. And our brain doesn't realize like this isn't that natural sugar that we want. It's artificial sugar. So there's a few things here. Number one, where are we energy wise, right? What was our sleep like? Are we recovering? Are we allowing for rest days? Have we had a stressful day? Like we need to look at, does my body actually just need energy? Right? Because if it does, then like I said, you can have some fruit, you can have whatever, you can make it a little snacky and give yourself energy. So we need to think of cravings like, am I truly hungry? Because a lot of you listening are restricting too much, or you're cutting out food groups that your body actually needs. And you're thinking, well, I need to do this to lose weight. No, you don't, right? You can eat everything, macros, carbs, fats, proteins, and lose weight. Plus, you're giving your body what it needs. So you're more than likely to have less cravings than if you were to cut it out. Would you agree? Okay. So there's that. If I am fed and I'm still having the sugar cravings, then I need to look at, am I allowing myself those pleasurable foods? Right?
Yes.
So both should be true. You should be checking in have I fed myself enough? And am I allowing myself these small little pleasures throughout the week? Right? So I talk about it all the time. I have a piece of chocolate after lunch. I do not bite that chocolate. I let it melt in my mouth. I tell people search for find the fat, because it coats, like the chocolate fat coats your mouth and it's like so good. And then I have my creamy at the end of the day. Another thing I've been doing, which I talk about on here, but I changed it. I do 8 ounces of Greek yogurt, which is a cup, 1 serving of PB Fit instead of peanut butter. I used to do peanut butter, but if I do PB Fit and mix it in the yogurt, tastes better with salt. And then I melt chocolate, put it on top, freeze it for 10 minutes and eat it. So it's like a crunchy little top. So freaking good. So are we, having those cravings because we're not allowing ourselves to have those foods? And then I guess the third one, which I've already kind of touched on, is, are we in a stressed state, right? And are we looking for food to, that sugar is something that gives us that dopamine hit. So are we looking to calm our nervous system? And when we turn to sugar to calm our nervous system, we're not truly doing that. We're actually repressing the emotions, which only are going to make. I read something today that said, I'm going to try to say this trigger warning. It's like, you won't die from depression. You won't die from sadness. You won't die from anger. You'll die from trying to avoid it.
Oh,
yeah. That's that of trying to avoid the true feelings.
Yeah.
And now we're saying die.
Right.
It was, we're not talking about that particularly, death, but the more we avoid, the more we're going to suffer.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we're talking about sugar here, but we've got to think of that. If I'm stressed and I'm looking for sugar, that's an indication my body needs to feel. And having the sugar, while yes, my brain thinks this is no, you can't feel those emotions. Like, you don't know how to feel those emotions, which might be true. But if you don't feel the emotions, how are you going to learn to feel the emotions?
Right.
Right. So it thinks instant gratification, eat the sugar. But long term, we're still avoiding, creating even more craving for that sugar. So if it is emotionally based, then we need to remind ourselves, I need to calm down. I need to feel my emotions in this. I'm reading 101 essays to change your thinking. It said, your emotions are transient. It's your perceptions that linger, perceptions of them that linger. And I was like, fuck, man, I say this shit all the time. So that would be my last one. If you need to feel the feeling, feel it, have it run through your body. Once it's gone, do something nice for yourself and see if the sugar craving goes.
Interesting. No, I have nothing to add. Because every time I thought of something, you said it, and I was like, okay,
bing, bong, bing. All right. Okay. Hello, all. I'm going to be starting to go to the gym. I'm thinking of Planet Fitness because it's what I can make work. The question is, am I able to get workout routines on the app, or will I have to do that another way? a complete beginner and just want to be prepared as much as I can? Great question.
I love this question. So what I really like is that she said, I'm going to go to Planet Fitness or insert gym because I can make it work. So how do we make a gym work? One, is it convenient? Is it on your way to work, from work, in the morning, down the street? Or like, do we need to alter our perception of what is convenient and do something at home? Right. The app that we have. So the app, Christina has built a wonderful program of where there's so many options in there for the gym, but not only for the gym, for at home, for equipment that you can have in the home. So to answer a question directly, yes, you will be able to take from that app what you need and to apply it to the gym. And not only that, there are guided workouts in there. So it's going to have the whole structure for you. Then it's going to have the sets and reps, the rest time in there. So that's all done. And then it has the exercise, and the exercise has a video with it. And then not only that, there is extensive, because I was going to use, there's extensive notes in there of how to interpret that movement. Then on top of that, when you use our guided app, you can also message us and we can answer the questions for you. So that's one thing that I think is really different about our app compared to the other kind of fit influencers out there is that they just say, do this. Right. And they don't really have, they have like core, total body, upper, lower. And it's like those three choices. And it's like, okay, but what if I can't make that time work? Okay, but what if I don't have the equipment? Okay, but what if I don't know like how to do this movement or if I'm doing it right? Like those, then that's what makes people inconsistent is because they don't have the answers. They don't know where to get the answers, especially when you're doing it right then and there. So what we have is a time crunch. There is upper, lower. There is, do you do push pull? Sometimes you do push pull too.
It just depends.
Okay. So there's a split program. And then there's total body in there. And then the core. What am I missing? Because there's a fifth.
So we have time crunch,
which
is 3 full bodies. Those are 20 minutes each. You have the 2 upper, 2 lower full body gym.
There we go.
2 upper, 2 lower full body dumbbell.
Okay.
Then you have 3 full body gym, 3 full body dumbbell.
Oh, okay.
So we have a 5-day split and a 3-day split now. 3-day bands and body weight. Then 3-day core.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of options there. So if the goal is to just get consistent at the gym, then you need something that is going to be flexible with your lifestyle. So for example, maybe today you have to pick up the kids a little bit earlier. So you don't have a full hour at the gym. You need the time crunch one. Great. Now, and then maybe on Wednesday when you go, you have a little bit longer. You can do the total body one. And then maybe on Friday when you go, you're like, man, I really want to like feel my booty. So you do the lower. Now, over time, is that how I want a workout structured? No. But in the beginning, when we're just focusing on consistency, you have to be flexible in what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, I want everyone to know. So what I do is I create the 5-day. Then I alter the 5-day gym to the 5-day dumbbell. Then I take the 5-day and I make 3 days. Then I alter it to dumbbell. Then I alter that to time crunch. So the goal is no matter whichever you choose, you're still working the similar body parts because it's all built off of the 5-day and then it kind of comes down. So,
genius.
Thank you. If you're wondering what we're talking about, it's the Mindset of Movement app. It is a part of our app. The nice thing too is you get the announcements. So like if we're running a special or a challenge, I created a separate account for like our announcements because I like my inbox a certain way with my clients. And that inbox is like all clients. So you get announcements or like different little challenges and stuff. So you get to kind of know what's going on in the world of the Mindset Matter. So that's it. Perfect. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, like we talked about, we'll have a link to the Mindset of Movement app, our Facebook group, and the Q&Heyyy form. We'd love to get more questions. We love when you guys ask the questions, and please join us in our group. We would love to see you there. If you have any questions about coaching with us, we'll also add the Clarity Call link. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Make sure to give us a follow, hit that notification bell, or if you love us so very much, please give us a 5-star rating and review. And other than that, I want to leave you the same way we always leave you every episode.
What you say in the mind,
you see in the mirror.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.